Filtering is a method whereby aliasing or jaggy edges in a rendering can be smoothed out after the samples are taken. So in the sampling quality, of course, we can set our number of samples per pixel, but then after the samples are taken, then a post process can be run in order to smooth out any jagged edges on reflections and sharp corners, etc. Now, filtration will not work at all if your samples per pixel is below 1/4. So you need to have a value of at least 1/4, and your production renders are never going to be that low anyway. You're going to have, at the bare minimum, 1, but probably more like 4 samples per pixel. So there's different types of filtration, and each one has a different look. So the standard box filter is kind of the default with a width and height of 1, and that's measured in pixels. So basically, each pixel will be blended with its neighbor. So this one was rendered here with the setting of the Lanczos filter with a width and height of 4, and this is the result that we got. So in order to sort of illustrate this more clearly, I'm going to set my number of samples down very low, and I'll just go back to the standard box filter. So I've only got 1 sample per pixel, and it should look pretty jagged. And then we can increase the filtration to add more softness to it. This is just for the purposes of illustration to show you how it works. So as you'll see, with 1 sample per pixel, we're getting a lot of jagged edges everywhere, all through here. Now I can increase the filtration, and what this is going to do is essentially apply a blur to everything. In actual practice, in production, we probably wouldn't use these settings. This is just to show you how filtration works. Typically, again, you would have minimum samples of 4, maximum of 16 or 64. And then you can give the filtration a little bit higher than 1, but you wouldn't usually turn it up as far as 4 for the box filter, because now it's looking as if, our lens is out of focus on the camera. So I would experiment with either the Mitchell or the Lanczos filter and see what they do, because they're going to probably be a little bit more sophisticated than the default box filter, and will give you a little bit better contrast, and your images will pop a little bit better. So once again, just to take a look at the end result, I've got this Mitchell filter here set to value of 4 and 4, and I've got 1 minimum sample and 16 maximum samples, and this is actually probably the best yet we've seen for this particular scene. So play around with the filtration. Don't crank it up too high, but use it in conjunction with the samples per pixel and spatial contrast to try to get a good rendering that doesn't take 100 years to complete. So that's it for the sampling quality for Mental Ray.